pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, good evening. I'd like to call to order the July 9th, 2025 meeting of the East Ridge Housing Commission. If we could please get a roll call.
Chairperson Davis,
Here.
Vice Chairperson Souder,
Here.
Commissioner Myers,
Here.
Commissioner Thompson, Commissioner Valone.
Here.
If everyone has had an opportunity to review the minutes from the June 11th, 2025 meeting, if we could get approval and a second on that, if been reviewed.
Our motions accept the minutes as written. Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second.
Vice Chairperson Souder,
Yes.
Commissioner Myers,
Yes.
Commissioner Thompson,
Yes.
Commissioner Valone,
Yes.
Chairperson Davis.
Yes. Our first item on our new business is 5006 Delaware Drive. This property, both interior and exterior, are in significant disrepair. There is debris all over the interior and exterior. There is a camper stored in the backyard with extension cords and disabled vehicles. Focus is on the interior of the habitation purposes. Both interior and exterior need to be addressed. Is there anyone here for 5006 Delaware? Wonderful. If you could please come on up. If you could please sign in on the page with your name and address. Both of you are fine to come up. Yeah. Yeah, Delaware. Sorry. Yeah, I'm moving the communications thing. Yeah. Once you've signed in, if you would please state your name.
Cynthia Sutherland.
Okay. Awesome. Now, are you the owner of the property?
Okay, I'm married to the gentleman that resides there,
Okay. So,
and this is my sister-in-law, so we
Okay,
consider we're owners.
who's Patricia?
That's my mother-in-law.
That's your
that had
mother-in-law. Okay,
passed.
she's
yes,
the owner.
her mother.
Okay. Okay.
Billy Sutherland.
And he is Patricia's son.
Yes,
And Patricia is a decedent?
she passed away.
Okay.
It's been about almost 4 years.
Okay. Okay.
Is your sister-in-law going to speak?
Yeah, she wants to.
Yeah, come on. It's fine.
Kathy Mize.
Okay.
C-A-T-H-Y.
Come up here.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, sir.
You're fine. Okay.
He would sign.
Sign in.
Miss Tori, can you tell us about what's going on with this property?
Yeah. So this property came to my attention due to a police call. We were informed that the property was under extremely unsanitary conditions on the interior. We were also informed that there was someone living in the camper in the backyard and also staying in the shed that was in the backyard. Currently, no one is staying at the property, and Miss Sutherland is actively working on getting the interior cleaned up. I told her it's going to be a process, but I'd rather see the interior get back to habitable purposes rather than focus on the exterior. Since my initial inspection, which was, I guess, last week, Miss Sutherland has managed to get, both bathrooms cleaned. She's gotten the kitchen fully cleaned out. They are still working. I know they worked all weekend long, pretty much for the most part. So, with it just being her and maybe a few others, I mean, she's she's going as fast as she can, but she's doing the best that she can.
Is this property condemned right now?
It is not. I did not, because I did not call an emergency housing commission meeting, and I wanted you guys to be the ones to make the call.
Okay. And what about the parties that were living in the camper and the shed?
To my knowledge, nobody's there anymore at all.
No, he lifted it up to try to clean it, and so it's still up. We just not took it down.
Yeah.
He's not there, so
Is it like a pop-up?
yeah, it's a pop-up.
Okay, that makes
He
sense.
purchased it from a neighbor across the street.
Okay. Awesome. So,
What about the shed?
To my knowledge, no. Police cleared that and there was nobody in there.
Okay. So you worked all weekend to get the bathroom and kitchen.
And we've got another room, we got the living room, and we're working on the other bit. The one section is the worst. It's like 4 layers. The other side is not that bad, we can get it, the living room, the kitchen, and the bedroom. But we got the bathroom over there in the hallway, and I've got pictures of that.
I've seen,
Okay.
yeah.
And y'all are able to get the dumpster dumped fine and brought back and all that kind of thing?
I will have to verify if we are going to place it back over there because it is a city dumpster. It was so that she didn't have to pile everything on the side of the road.
Yeah.
That's going to be something I'm going to have to get approved higher up than me. So, but I will work on that.
Okay.
What about the structure? Any code issues other than just the breeze?
To be honest with you, I couldn't tell. To be honest, I mean, you walk in, and Miss Other on the nose as well. You know, you couldn't really see much. I do know that there is power and there's water, so that's not a concern to me. I can address if we come to find code issues later on. Once I get it cleaned out, sure, we can address that and go from there. But as it stood, I didn't see anything that was crazy, you know, life-threatening at the time that made me absolutely want to condemn it right then and there. I mean, yes, it's rough, but with nobody have been there, I just waited until I
So
came.
the roof is okay and everything?
As far as I'm concerned, yes, sir.
And are y'all currently living there while you're cleaning it out? Y'all are not living there?
I don't live there.
Who does?
I
for
left him
side?
about 4 years ago. We still communicate, and, you know, I come down when I have to come down. He's got a lot of mental issues going on with the family that passed. And then she lives in Nashville, so,
So I've been coming down to help and clean.
yeah, and I
Get it
told her,
all
I said, this is
cleaned
a situation we've got. I need help because I can't do it. I mean, I can. I've been there a couple of days by myself, but I need, because it's really overwhelming. I'm not claustrophobic, but I will get in that way.
I know, it's a lot. And so Billy is the one who's still residing there?
But the structure, like I said, the one section, it was redone. I mean, you can see, this is the living room. I don't know if you guys can.
We've got a bunch of the rooms already done.
And we've got the trailer moved out front.
He did show me that.
Yeah. So the one section's been redone. It's had new flooring, painted, bathroom, all that. And then over there, you know, it's structurally sound. It's just not structurally clean at the moment. But we're working on, that means we have 4 rooms left.
Yeah, that's it.
The living
Done
room,
last time.
the kitchen, and the 1 bedroom on the other side. And then the bedroom we was working on today, but we kind of stopped in the middle of it trying to, because she has to go back.
Yeah.
But I'll be
So-
back this week.
She's gonna come back. I'm gonna start doing trips, like routine trips to Nashville, pick her up. We'll do like 2 days of work
Yeah.
and then go on, because, you know, we all work, so it's kind of,
It's a lot.
and we changed the door locks. And, because I know a lot of the homeless bicycle people were coming there, and I'm like, y'all get away from here, stay away from here, there's none here for no more. And then we put cameras. We've got
Okay.
cameras. at
So
the
have you had
residence.
people trespassed from the property or?
I did have a lady that was there. She was looking for her bicycle she left there. She said her boyfriend brought. I said, "Look, I don't want the drama. You just don't need to come here. I'm sorry, but
Right.
you know, we got
Okay.
to get this cleaned up. Issues.
So at this pace, how long do you think before you get a substantial amount of the inside?
I say we could get it all done in 2 weeks. I say, well, we go today and finish that 1 room,
Yeah.
that whole section. And if we finish that 1 room over there,
And the whole
that whole section's
Be
done.
done.
So
And then we'll
maybe
have
2
3
weeks.
rooms.
Couple of weeks?
Yeah.
And then
Yes.
at that point, you'd be ready to start on the outside?
Well, we've already been doing that too. We've already moved a trailer. Like I said, I put bicycles that he had back in the back, locked all that up. And I had my grandson there this weekend. I didn't let him in the house, but I let him move stuff outside. So, and then
There-
we're working on trying to get the pop-up down.
Yeah. Are there disabled vehicles as well that have to be taken care of?
They're working on that. There was,
Okay.
but they're working on that.
Okay. Awesome. So our next meeting is August 13th,
Front yard's already done.
second week, second Wednesday of
Front
August.
yard's done.
Gotta get that one car.
wanna? You wanna make a motion? No.
Well, it sounds like you've,
I just wanna clarify, is anyone living there right now?
No.
No one's living there?
No.
Talked to him the second day I seen him. The night was called. I was called out there when all this happened, went down, because he called me. And then I seen him the next day, and then he called me from a private number. Like I was telling the officer, he called me from a restricted number and telling me he was working in Atlanta. He was doing a job up there, and he was going to try to get him some money and then come back and turn himself in. And like I told him, I said, you need to do something because you can't keep, you're not helping yourself by keep doing this. So, and we hadn't heard from him since. And normally he'll call up one of us, and he hasn't. We've been
Y'all
kinda-
changed the lock so he can't get in
He
without
can't get in. He
reaching
has
one
no
of y'all?
keys.
No.
And I put boards in the windows so nobody can get in
So
there.
it's secure.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
good.
because I was scared
They
for
have-
them, the bicycle people that were coming there too. I was worried about them. But,
Okay.
and the neighbor next door, I've talked to him, and I said, if you see them here, tell them to leave. Or call me and I'll,
Call the police, yeah.
because it takes me about 20 minutes to come off the signal, so.
Awesome. All right, that was all.
well, it sounds like you're making a very good effort to rectify the issue that it doesn't sound like you were part of. And with the house being secure and no code issues at this time until we can find out further, I would make a motion to bring you back in 30 days to see the progress based on your testimony and what you're gonna continue to do. And Ms. Holder would, at that point, address any code violations, and you'd continue on the outside.
Yeah.
With no one living there.
No, there's no one there.
No.
Like I said, she lives in Nashville, and I have my home on Mountain.
Yeah.
That I have responsibilities there, so.
I won't.
That being said, I would make a motion to pass it till August the 13th meeting.
I'll second that.
We have a motion and a second.
Vice Chairperson Souter,
Yes.
Commissioner Myers,
Yes.
Commissioner Thompson,
Yes.
Commissioner Valone,
Yes.
Chairperson Davis.
Yes. Make sure that through this process and, for her to come back and look at it prior to August 13th, and y'all can come back August 13th and we can meet again to.
Oh, communication's great. I mean, she sent me pictures before I even knew she was ready.
Well,
so.
yeah, I sent them in the middle, and I was like, we gotta take a picture of that now and send it.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I mean, the home is sentimental to us.
Yes, my mom's.
So that was your mother's house?
Yes, ma'am.
So you're an heir to that property?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Yeah,
Just wanna make sure
her
that you
mother
had
and her
all-
sister, they
I was-
both passed there.
I live in Nashville because my husband passed away, so I live in Nashville.
Right.
And I want to retire before I move.
She wants to move down here,
Oh, awesome.
so.
But I'm originally from.
Good deal.
So-
Great. Well, thank you guys so much.
Well, thank you, I
And we'll see
appreciate
you
it.
in
Yes, thank
August.
you.
Good luck. Thank
You
you
did
for all you're doing.
prayer.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you all.
Okay, we're gonna move on to old business, 5916 Wentworth Avenue. Update on progress from the May 14th meeting regarding the demolition of the structure.
Yeah.
Hi,
Hi.
if you could please sign in with your name and address. Yeah. Just Wonderful, and your name is?
Elena Harrell.
Seemed like I remember that from your husband before.
Yeah.
My daughter's name's Lena, so I remember that. Awesome. So tell us about what's happened on that property the last 60 days.
So finally, we've been able to cap the sewer. Took forever to get that permit from a city, from the WWTA. So that's capped, And if I have to estimate, as of today, we are about 1/3, maybe even more, done with demolition.
Wow, awesome. Okay, so all the permits are pulled, sewers capped, and they're working.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, I pulled permit for demolition, I think, last week.
Okay, awesome.
Well, she actually had already pulled, but we were just waiting on WWTA. So as soon as she got that, she uploaded it, and we were moving. So
Okay,
and
wonderful.
yes, I've been by the property. So
I think so.
No?
Okay, yeah, there's not a reason to really keep it, as long as she's making progress.
Nope.
No, awesome. So we make a motion.
Close it without prejudice.
And close it without prejudice. Make a motion. Yeah.
Well, considering that the demo has started and Ms. Holder is satisfied with the progress, I would make a motion to close this case without prejudice.
We have a motion to close?
I'll second that.
Motion and a second.
Vice Chairperson Souter,
Yes.
Commissioner Myers,
Yes.
Commissioner Thompson,
Yes.
Commissioner Valone,
Yes.
Chairperson Davis.
Yes, I just want to make sure I'm right on this, closing it. In the event that the permit expires and the work is not done, we can still call it forward again. So just make
Oh,
sure
it
that
will be
it's,
demolished,
I know.
but
I just want to make sure for the record that you knew that, so. okay,
yeah,
awesome.
no, it
What-
will be done for sure.
What are you planning on doing with the property once you demolish the structure?
Ah, well, that's the big question, to be honest. For right now, I'm kind of debating. So what we're thinking, we will seal the portion of the house that will be standing, that is above the flood line. We'll seal it for right now because we have to finish repair at other property we have. And meanwhile, I don't know, I will be exploring selling or building.
Yeah,
Not quite sure yet. I have to put some numbers together.
sounds good. Well, Miss Tori will be happy to, to help you along the way.
either way,
All right, well, great. Thank you so much, Ms. Lena.
Thank
and
you.
Best of luck to you.
And just, it's not related to this meeting, but I just want to recognize Ms. Tori Bill. Awesome helping. So just want to make sure you know how great she's doing.
Great, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
you'll get a notice just saying it's been closed. But you're good. You don't have to do that.
The next one is Betty. Okay, the next one on our list is 3405 Betty Lane. This is update on progress of the property cleanup and completion of eviction of the tenants back on May 14th meeting.
So Miss Rita obviously is not here. She is in Colorado, I think. It is moving along. She is working on finding a contractor to fix the interior repairs that needed to be made. The tenants are out. Everything is cleaned out. And she has stripped up most of the carpet. She's going to get ServPro to come back in and re-estimate now that she's removed a lot of it, because it does need to be deep cleaned. But she, like I said, she's just waiting on that. It also is an AHO for exterior, so she's kind of been hit with a double whammy. So it is still secure. The condemnation placards are still up. She hasn't, allowed anybody to go in, but she's been trying to juggle both with exterior and the interior.
With the writ of possession, was she able to get all of that stuff taken away by the city, or was that all okay? Did it
She had a
stack up
dumpster
outside?
out there ready to go.
Okay,
So when they placed it outside and the sheriff, came and waited or whatever, after that, she had her crews there ready to just dump it all in the dumpster if they didn't claim whatever. So
awesome. I know with the writ, you have to put it out and wait. Technically, you're supposed to wait 72 hours, I believe, for someone to come back and get some of their belongings, but I was just worried about it sitting outside and then attracting and,
they put it, so the way y'all have seen, I'm sure, when you
Yeah.
go by, if you go on Betty, it's the cul-de-sac where you can just see the front, but if you go on the back side where the other apartments are, that's where that top driveway is to that one unit. So she just put everything out there by that door, so that way it was still secluded away from everything else, but just in that vicinity, and it's
Awesome.
been gone, it's been taken care of.
okay.
Is it gonna require any permits for the repairs?
Yes, and Miss Rita is aware of that, however, she's just waiting on the quotes. When she gets the quotes and gets a contractor, she'll pull them.
So, should we pass this for 60
My
days?
question is, if it's gonna require permits for has she satisfied this board enough that it would become under codes now to finish?
I mean, it's one of those, there's no harm in keeping it here, other than it clogs the docket. If it's one that we're comfortable with codes, you know, can always dismiss it with prejudice, knowing that, I mean, that, the order I just did for Wentworth is clearly, to close without prejudice, notifying the property owner that at this time, they don't have to keep coming back. We want their efforts and focus to be on completing the remediation efforts of the property. And I would recommend that. It frees up our staff and frees up this docket, but knowing that our staff is still, I mean, we got the demolition permits out there, all right, so, or not in this case, not demolition, the,
Repairs.
repairs, excuse me, the repair permits, they're monitoring it now.
Well, that was my point. She's got to monitor it anyway through permitting.
Yeah.
No reason to just keep.
The monitoring system is still in place, it just doesn't necessarily have to be here. And if they're dissatisfied, they can renotice this to be put back on the docket, and we'll be back here, and the property owner responded. Remind me, who was the?
Rita. It was in
Rita
a trust.
Bachman.
Yes,
Bachman, that's
Bachman,
what I have,
yes.
okay. And you've been in contact with Ms.
Oh,
Bachman?
yeah, she
Right.
calls me quite
I feel like
frequently.
if we're
Pleased with the
communicating and we're getting
communication.
progress, I think that's the most important part.
She's kind of sort of, for lack of term, satisfied what we wanted. She's evicted and cleaned up, and now she's ready to, the construction part of repairs. Which, again, you're gonna oversee anyway.
And it, like I said, it's also an AHO as well. So I can always, you know, keep it in AHO so that way it's still held accountable on the AHO side until the exterior is done, because that's what I have to wait on anyways.
Right.
But
Well, I mean, it's a thought, whatever this body thinks.
I'm fine with closing it. I mean, she's responding. It's not like she's not. And she's in Colorado, so it makes it hard. So, if anybody wants to make a motion this weekend.
I'll make a motion to close without prejudice.
Okay, we have a motion to close without prejudice, and we just need a second.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second.
Vice Chairperson Souter,
Yes.
Commissioner Myers,
Yes.
Commissioner Thompson,
Yes.
Commissioner Valone,
Yes.
Chairperson Davis.
Yes. Next item is 1603 South Smith Street. That's hard to say altogether. Update on anything from June 11th meeting regarding the cleanup of the property.
so I did go back out, I think I was supposed to go back out on that Friday maybe. We had to push it to the following week, which I did go out. I had myself and the code enforcement officers go with me. It was a good meeting, pleasant, nobody screamed. They are making progress. To my knowledge, as it stands, no one is living in the camper anymore. They did post a lot of the cars that were in the backyard on Facebook Marketplace. I can confirm that we saw those on Facebook Marketplace. I know that they have sold a few of them, but they're still working on getting the others sold. The vehicles in the front, they're working on getting them tagged and operable, that they wanted to keep alongside of the cleanup in the front yard. The backyard was not as bad as we thought, or at least whenever I went back out to kind of look at it, I think they already had a jump on getting things handled. There is still things that they need to take care of, but they're working on it.
So we're for certain that no one's living in that camper.
To my knowledge, his
Okay.
daughter Lindsay, she confirmed it with me too. I explained to her why they couldn't. They said that the bedroom was finished, put back together, and he was back in there.
Okay. I zoomed past there today and I didn't see an extension cord.
Me neither. They were removed.
I just saw the cars, so I was like, well, I don't know, kind of the status on this. So what is your suggestion?
Give them more time, and let them meet compliance. I know that they're willing to meet compliance. I do know they have some things going on right now that's causing them a little bit of a holdup, but they are aware. Lindsay is aware. I talked to her. They're working on it.
Were you able to find out about the interior? Is it okay?
No idea.
Okay,
I didn't try to push. Honestly, I was just trying to stick to the scope of the exterior.
okay. Okay, awesome.
how much time you wanna give them?
I'd say another 30 days should be sufficient. I can't promise that they will have all the cars necessarily sold. I don't know the time frame on that, but at least cleanup wise, I think another 30 days would be sufficient for them.
So if we pass it, are you gonna bring them back in 30 days?
We can reevaluate. But like I said, I am more than willing to work with anybody that's willing to comply, and they have not shown me that they don't care about being here. They've been in constant contact. They were gonna be here today, but like I said, they got some stuff going on. They were panicking about not being here. I was like, it's okay, like, I got it.
As long as they're communicating with you
Exactly.
respectfully and all of
Exactly.
that is going well.
And so far, it's been fine, so.
Okay, awesome. I should have them come back. What are your thoughts?
Make a motion to pass this to the August 13th meeting?
You have a motion to pass?
Second.
You have a motion and a second to pass this to August 13th.
Vice Chairperson Souter,
Yes.
Commissioner Myers,
Yes.
Commissioner Thompson,
Yes.
Commissioner Valone,
Yes.
Chairperson Davis.
Yes. Next item is 28 Frawley Road. Update on progress from June 11th. Meeting regarding having the backyard cleaned up and brought into compliance.
So Miss Edna was gonna be here today, but she talked to me for an hour yesterday. She fell again,
Oh,
so
no.
she was not gonna make it in.
Okay. Again, she's not living there by herself,
No,
is she? Okay.
no.
Okay.
They have cleaned up for the most part, you know, the front. It's not gonna be a perfect home magazine, but there's not things everywhere. They took down the stairs that were falling on that side door. So literally all that is left is just the exterior, on the backyard anyways. I reached out to Neighbors Helping Neighbors. They are not able to do it just because it's a lot for them, for that group. So I'm trying to find and explore other options to help Miss Edna. She did say that she's willing, you know, to pay whoever. Her and her daughter were trying to reach out and find somebody. It's a big project. It's a lot going on. So I have something in mind, but I have to run it by her tomorrow and see if she's okay with that. And if she is, then it'll be taken care of next week. I just have to make sure.
So
she's
is it
okay.
just high grass or is it undergrowth, like woods, like brush?
Mix? It's a mix. And it's, I mean, if y'all been up on Frawley back there, most of those houses do have a lot of woods that surround those lots anyways. But I think at one time she maintained it a lot better when she could move than obviously she can now. But what's stemming from, or the problem that it's stemming from, is the neighbors are complaining because of the overgrowth, and we've got to figure out a solution one way or the other. But I don't want, she just paid off 2 liens. I don't want to put that on her again, and she's trying, but again, she's, you know, y'all see, so.
Swedish.
Bless her.
Love her. So you say you have an idea in mind.
I'm going to swing it past her. I have had it approved from higher ups to send streets over from us to maintain it and try to bush hog it back there. There will be a fee that will be assessed with it, but it'll be at least affordable, but it's to get her at least a good start. And then at that point, once she reaches the compliance, you know, I'll let her know she's gonna have to find somebody to maintain. Like, that's gonna be on them, but at least to get it out of you guys, and that's literally all that's left, satisfy the neighbors. That's,
And bush hogging would be easier to maintain it.
yeah.
Ultimately, she could probably find a lawn service to do it
Exactly.
manageably and a lot less expensive than the
Yeah.
initial.
That's my only solution at the moment. So, like I said, I've got it approved. I've just got to clear it with her.
Okay. Well, there's something new on this one.
Pass it to next month on Tori's recommendation.
It's up to you guys. Since it's just exterior, I'm gonna make sure it's done either way. Yeah.
Based on your recommendation, I would pass it for 30 more days just to make sure we get that cleaned up.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. 13.
Yes, sir.
Motion and a second.
Vice Chairperson Souter,
Yes.
Commissioner Myers,
Yes.
Commissioner Thompson,
Yes.
Commissioner Valone,
Yes.
Chairperson Davis.
Yes. Last on old business is 1440 Millbrow Circle. Update on progress from June 11th meeting regarding the removal of the tree.
I was talking to Melissa with this one. I think that I was supposed to get a quote, and I did that. Okay. I didn't want y'all to be like, why didn't
Well,
you?
I believe we had taken care of things, but did not include the tree,
That's correct.
and we had to revisit that,
And
and
the
then also
vehicles.
then operable vehicles.
Yes, ma'am. So I did get a quote. I do have that. The bid came in at $2,500. That's tree removal and car removal. The only question I have is where are we going to place these cars? If they need to go to the city impound lot, if we are going to let him scrap them, Mr. Litchford will have to answer that. But when we remove these cars off this,
Oh, yeah.
I don't know what you want to do, but I will say he has not responded to the notice. I placed it on the property, nothing. So
And these are his vehicles that he's losing.
yes,
And he's,
it doesn't matter apparently. So
well, then if he doesn't respond, he doesn't, I mean, there's nothing we can do about that. Place the order, you know?
I told my cleanup guy asked how many vehicles, what they were, you know, just so he knew what he was about to work with. Told him most of them are either work vans or just regular, ordinary cars. What I'm going to instruct him, and if it's okay with y'all, because I really don't know how to proceed on this one, is just if it doesn't have a tag or it looks inoperable, I'm gonna have him take it.
If it doesn't have a
all I'm
tag,
gonna
then
do.
it's technically inoperable.
Exactly.
And that quote of 2,500, does that have to go through the council?
2,500 is, no, that's below. Mr.
Okay.
Miller can make
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And when that happens, will you have folks on site?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. I mean, people don't care until it's happening,
Yeah.
and then they care.
Yeah. No, I will have somebody with me.
Okay. Awesome. So I'm good with that. I mean, it's up to y'all. So all the other items though have been cleaned up. Have there been more items? Replace those that have been removed.
It looks like it in the driveway.
So, how do we combat that? I mean,
When we went out to do the cleanup in the first place, he knew that we were coming. It wasn't a surprise to him. He wasn't combative. He wasn't hateful. But I told him, you know, you've had time. Like, you need to get these things put up and put away. Like, if you want to keep it, whatever's out here, you've got until they get to it and it's gone. So he did. And he put it under the carport. And now it just, the only thing I know to do to keep it from happening is literally just rip everything. That's all I know to do, honestly. Just rip everything out. That's under that carport. Throw it all away,
so y'all cleaned up and then more stuff showed up.
pretty much.
That's what I was afraid of. That's why I asked. I was like,
Or it's just stuff that he put under the carport to keep, and it's just now, it's like a kid that doesn't put their toys up. Literally is what it looks like.
when I was a kid and I didn't put my toys up, they got thrown away.
Exactly.
Sorry, I mean.
Well, obviously, we had a vote, and you have a quote to remove the trees and cars. So we can move forward with that, correct?
Yes, we can.
And at that point, you can readdress the carport issues with him, and we could
If
go-
he's there.
we can readdress that again, correct?
Mm-hmm.
I agree. Yeah, okay. So who wants to make a motion?
Well, obviously, I'll make a motion to move forward with the tree and vehicle removal as voted in previous meeting.
Second.
A motion and a second.
Vice Chairperson Souter,
Yes.
Commissioner Myers,
Yes.
Commissioner Thompson,
Yes.
Commissioner Valone,
Yes.
Chairperson Davis.
Yes. Okay, is there any communication or comments from the public at this time? Anyone who signed it, y'all come on up. Good to see you again. You have already signed in with your name and address?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, wonderful.
My name is Rodney Love. I live at 1605 South Smith Street, right next to 1603. Code enforcement officers, I like to thank them for doing a great job. They have removed 3 of the cars of the 6. There's
Halfway?
still a black one in the backyard that's been there since 2017.
Okay.
The 2 in the front has not run or the hood been open in 2 years. So, and I doubt if they have the resources to repair it.
Right.
They haven't lived in the camper in 4 days. Cause I got a camera on my fence line, and unfortunately every time they open the camper door, my alarm goes off. So I know when they leave and when they don't. But for 4 days, they haven't lived in there. So that's a good sign.
Okay. All right,
But
so that's progress.
yeah, they've made some progress, but I still don't know why they didn't start with the 2 vehicles in the front. But
Well, it's a good thing, at least they're
Yes,
trying,
ma'am.
they're moving forward.
Paul Drew, 1607 South Smith Street. Just wanted to jump in there.
Go ahead.
No, I thought I was gonna let
It's
you
okay.
off this time.
go ahead.
After the last meeting, they did spend a week before you showed up. They did do a lot of work. They removed the carport, and I believe they showed good effort
Yeah,
doing what they were doing. My question is the 2 vehicles in the front. I know they've said that they wanted to work on them. The silver vehicle or tan vehicle that you may or may not have seen, they've been working on it since May of 23. You can go on Google Streets. It's sitting in the front yard on Google Streets of May of 23 with the hood up. You can actually see from Google Earth where it's in its current position since 24, a little over a year. It hasn't moved. The last time he started it, it bellowed out black smoke. So it's burning a lot of.
yeah.
The red vehicle, the red truck, they pushed with their other vehicle to put it in the front yard when they moved the trailer out to get to the vehicles in the back. Now, I believe you heard that the truck in the back, they have sold it, but they're waiting on a small wrecker to get back into the backyard.
So are they gonna have to move that trailer or the camper to get? Okay,
Yeah, I have pictures of it. It's
yeah,
sat
they're
in
gonna
the
have
front
to
yard
move
for a
that
week.
camper out to the road
Yes.
to get the wrecker back there to get those cars
right.
out. Okay.
My next question is, are they allowed to have that camper sit where it is currently beside the house?
Technically, yes.
No
It's
matter
not,
how junky it is.
even though it's not pretty, and I know it's not pretty, code says that you can store a camper in the front yard. Well, not the front yard, let me rephrase myself. You can store it in the front of your property as long as it's behind the front structure line of that house. So to my knowledge, it was backed in enough away from it, and I can make sure,
It is.
but technically, yes, it
There's
is
a lot
code.
of campers in East Trojan driveways, and most of
Yes.
them are, back.
I mean,
And I get it's
Unfortunately,
not the
this one's
greatest
just not
looking,
brand
but
new
yes,
and-
it's.
do they have to be street legal, or can you just store? And I mean, that's my question.
No, I get you. I really don't think that it.
Got it.
Yeah, honestly.
Okay.
If it was like a RV style because you drive it operable, yes, I can get it on that for not having a tag, not operable. But with it being something that they pull behind, whatever the case is,
I mean, the
that's
wheels
tough.
are flat.
It's tough. It's
You're
tough.
not traveling down the road.
Yeah.
My next question is, if they get a tag for those 2 vehicles in the front, do they, when you say roadworthy, are you gonna make sure they can drive them on the road? Okay, that's, 'cause I mean, 'cause you can get a tag and it still be a junk. I just wanna make sure they can drive it. If they drive it, that's on,
Yep. That's
they
what we
won't
make
be able
sure.
to.
They have 30 days, and sounds like they're at least trying.
They are.
Rome wasn't built in a day, unfortunately, so we have to give them the opportunity to get into compliance, and we can revisit it next month, and hopefully they'll make a lot of progress in this next 30 days, and they've already got, would you say 3 of them sold? So, and did you say they did or did not have intentions of selling the 3 in the front? Did they say?
I know the red truck. I was told that they wanted to keep because it's apparently sentimental to Patty, his wife. The other one, I think it was their son's.
Their stepson's.
Yeah.
The silver
It
one's
broke
up
down
there.
2 years ago.
I was told he's supposed to be removing that one. I'm pretty sure.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure. I don't
And
know,
yes,
but
the red truck that's in the front now. I've heard the same story. It's her father's truck. Actually, they were all her father's
Yeah.
trucks. So there's sentimental value to all of them. Does that matter?
not necessarily, no. And I will say, Lindsay made a good point too. She's the one that really got them to sell it anyways, is because, yeah, but you're not using it. Like,
You can use the
So,
money. You're
exactly.
not using the truck, use the
Exactly.
money. Even if
So-
it's just cash for clunkers, it's money.
Exactly. And I mean, she's made a heck of a lot of progress getting them out of there, at least, like I said, 3 of them. So, I'll work with it, but yes, to just ease your mind, no, I'm not going to let them say, oh, we got a tag, like, it's good to go. No, I'm not gonna.
Well, we can address that when they come, we can
Right.
readdress the vehicles. And obviously, it's their business if they wanna keep those types of vehicles, but there's other options. They could get off-site storage, put them somewhere where they can work on them or never work on them,
Exactly.
just not in the
Off
front
the
yard.
record, even if they put it in the backyard at this point, now that they got rid of the other 4 junky vehicles, because I don't believe that red truck is as bad as the ones in the backyard were. I know when you showed up, they had cleaned a lot,
Oh, yeah.
a whole lot. Well, you kind of saw back there before they did.
Yeah.
So they did do a lot of work. My question is, are we gonna have to continue to revisit this from year to year? Because they've cleaned in the past. This is the worst it's gotten, but they'll clean up, and then 3-4 months down the road, we're right back.
And we've had properties like that. We've got one right now that just since I've been on this commission, it's been in front of us twice. And there is a point where it's like we have to go, okay, either we have to keep this straight, you have to abide by the codes, or we have to get involved and take care of it for you. So I like to err on the positive side that someone is going to do the right thing, you know, because it's their home. This is their stuff. But it can come up in front of us as many times, and we have to make those corrective measures as much as possible. So it's just a matter of, you know, notifying and getting the ball moving.
And I will say this time, I've dealt with them in the past, told you guys that. With it being housing commission though, I think this actually put a little bit more fire underneath them to get it cleaned up and get it maintained. You know, I was told that they know that it's gotten bad, and that they're willing to get it in compliance, which let's hope. So, like Ms. Davis just said, it's kind of a.
The last meeting, because me and Lindsay used to communicate quite often, and she knew, but it's her parents, you know, it's like, how do you tell your mom and dad
Yeah.
to clean up your house?
Yeah.
But she's the one that's gonna
Yeah.
take care of things.
And she has. She's called me separately, you know, talking to me. I'll get you pictures if I need to. So they've been good about just communication and trying to stay
Don't
on
get frustrated and stop pushing it. Keep coming. We'll keep it here. Or
Oh, we'll be here next.
we'll do what we can. We can't. We'll move it on.
Yeah, we got a good-looking neighborhood, like to keep it that way.
Absolutely.
Yes.
And
We
I
appreciate it.
kind of wanted, it's more towards you, I wanted to take care of this property because there are other properties, I don't want to talk to you about them yet. Because, well, when you have this property, it's hard to pick on somebody else when they see this.
Yeah.
And most of the homeowners didn't let their property go, but they're looking at this, well, if they're doing it, we can too. So if we get this cleaned up, then I'll be aggravating you. It's like, there's a couple other properties that are accumulating building materials in the front yard and whatnot. And a quick question, Ms. Tori brought to, I gotta leave. I have spinal issues and standing here is, you're not allowed, it's been brought to my attention that you can park vehicles in the yard. It used to be a code years ago that you couldn't.
I'm not aware of that.
I don't know.
It's never been a code.
I know 15 years ago that you couldn't because I got tagged for it. But when I spoke with her, I have a neighbor who has 4 vehicles parked, you know, in the grass.
Yeah.
And is it just something that we just say, okay? See where I'm going with this? They're work vehicles. The yard has become a mud hole, so it's no longer appealing.
I don't know.
And it's one thing, like if you're having a party, I'm not just talking about,
Yeah.
this is every single day. Some of them don't move, they're all legal, but they're just parked there, with weeds growing up.
Is there a number of vehicles that one can have on private property in East Ridge? That poses a
Not to my
problem.
knowledge. And
Yeah.
again, I don't know, you know, I'm
Yeah.
only 26, so I can't
Yeah.
tell you that much about it, but
Be something to
You're
research.
correct, because I
Yeah.
did do a code search, and the code has disappeared. There used to be a code about vehicles had to be parked on either a gravel, some type of,
You are correct. There, and Mr. Rezel could probably help us since he's gonna sit in the back. It seems like 20 years or so ago, you at least had to have you couldn't just park it in the grass. You had to have gravel, concrete, it had to be an established driveway.
I had to widen my driveway for that.
There wasn't a number of vehicles.
No.
It was a number of spaces for the vehicles that are parked, that are housed, not parked.
Couldn't park it on actual grass. Like if you had gravel,
That's right.
at least, it didn't have to be special.
I actually think we have the International Private Maintenance Code. I'll look that up. I think there is a provision relative to pavement.
There's a loophole that I was gonna bring up to you about.
We'll see what we can find out, but I actually think there is something that we've seen.
Guess it's as good as mine. I ain't ever seen it.
Take a look at
I have a neighbor who does the drive.
It's, I mean, like I said, it's my next door neighbor on the other side. It's
Yeah.
not an issue I wanna bring up now because of 1603. I just wanna make sure that was taken care of first. I don't wanna seem like I'm picking.
It's okay.
I will say this though, if there's any, I mean, get me a list. Yes, we go up and down, but also I don't necessarily do code enforcement. I'm the residential inspector. So, and he's gone too, so it's really, we're down a person. And it's no excuse, but get me a list and I'll get the other code enforcement out there and we can get them written up.
And,
So-
and all honesty though, I wanna wait till this one property's
Yeah.
clean, because I don't want people's like, well, why are you picking on me when they're
Right,
Yeah.
like that?
right.
So once that property's taken care of, and they're not, it's not gonna be like 1603, it's not big deals,
Yeah.
it's just little things. Like I said, stack of windows in the front yard, or trailers parked in the lawn,
Okay,
you know, it's things like that, utility trailers.
okay.
Well, we appreciate it.
Yeah.
Thank you guys for
I'll let you guys go.
coming out.
Again,
Appreciate
don't
it.
get frustrated.
Oh, we're not.
Keep it up.
We
Yep.
appreciate it.
All right,
All right, we
Thank you.
appreciate you.
Thank you,
Thank
Mr.
you for
Miller.
your
Y'all
time.
have a
Thank
good
you.
evening.
Wait, in case I fall.
Okay. All right. Are there any correspondence from the board or additional comments, conversations at this time? Mr. Rizzo, have anything?
Y'all did all right.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Thank you.
I talked more to some other people about the lady's backyard.
Okay.
Can we cut it and then I'll talk about that?
Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and call this meeting from July 9th is now adjourned. Great, thank you.